So this week I don't actually have a question. So I decided to talk about what would be called my spiritually transformative experience. So there's a thing called the near-death experience, and they have a community. So people who have an accident or some physical ailment and they're close to death often have these dramatic spiritual experiences. They have different categories. Like near-death, they call near-death-like experiences. Or a spiritually transformative experience, and there's one for people who are in the presence of someone else who is dying. They also experience this thing. So when you do have it, it becomes kind of like a big deal to you. Like 90-some% of people who have them, it changes their whole attitude towards the world. In my case, I feel like the bubble that was me kind of burst or got inverted or something, so that I became everything outside the bubble. And what was inside the bubble was just, I don't know, it wasn't as much me anymore. I sort of just identified with the cosmos rather than with my own personal self. But I definitely have certain things in common with with other people who have things like near-death experiences. And it usually has to do with a loss of rigid grasp on oneself as a really important thing. It really does turn you into a selfless kind of person. That sounds arrogant, I guess, to say that. And so I'm worried about sounding arrogant when I say that. Because you really are still a person, and you still are selfish in a certain sense. But there's a relativization of that. You just don't sweat the small stuff as much. I guess you just get less bothered by. But you also become really hypersensitive. So you do sweat the small stuff. But for some reason, it feels like you're sweating. The small stuff is the important stuff. And the big stuff is less important. So in a way, you're not sweating the big stuff anymore once you've had such an experience. I'm telling you this because I think I should write a book. And I've been trying to write a book for 4 years. And I type a lot of words, but I still don't know what to write about, really. My spiritually transformative experience, it is kind of the center point of my life, the thing that is most characteristic of my existence. If you look at me and you want to think, what is the main thing that I should know about that person? That would be it. And so it would seem that if I didn't know what else to write about, that would be clearly the most obvious thing to choose. And so I'm pretty sure in the end, that's what I will write my book about. But I'm not, it's like I haven't connected all the dots in terms of what is the story that I have to tell. I have to try to learn how to present this story in sort of a formal way, which is to say, dressed in the clothing of civilization. I have to paint it and make it part of civilization. That's what writing a book means. It's taking something that isn't part of the world and society and turning it into something that is now part of the world and society. I don't know where to start or what I actually want to do with this video, which that's kind of how it's been with writing my book, just not really being sure. But I didn't really have a question to answer this week, so it's not easy to get people to give you questions week after week. I do want to start talking about this thing, so that's definitely on my agenda. I've been studying videos of, it's called International Association for Near-Death Studies. A spiritually transformative experiences definitely fits in. It's also distinctive. I guess everybody's experience will be distinctive. So apparently that's all I have to say for this particular video. So I'll probably, I don't know, I can't tell you, maybe I'll pick this thread up next week or something.